Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make a reverse waterfall. So my name's Amanda, thanks for joining me. Now this is a general tutorial. I'm actually doing this as part of a folio style journal that I'm making, and it's one of the interactive pages. So I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you how to make it. Now I'm doing this tutorial for my ladies and gents that want to make the journal, but you can make a reverse waterfall. As it even show, you can make a reverse waterfall, you can make them on cards, you can do anything with them. Okay, they're awesome, and it's much easier than a traditional one where it goes the other way. So what you're going to need, whether you're doing it in a journal, whether you're putting it on a card, whatever you do, you need a base to build it on, and you're going to need it to be a belly band base because the mechanism needs to go behind. Okay, so all you need to do if you want to do it on a different project is just change the sizes to suit yourself, but follow the same principle. It's very easy to resize it. Practice it, have a go with some scrap card and see how easy it is. So for my project, mine needs to be, and my belly band here is 4 1/4 by 9. I've scored on 2 sides, top and bottom, 1/2 inch, and that's how it's going to attach to my base. My base is a journal, yours could very well be a card. It's up to you. So I'm just going to fold and burnish those. Okay. Those of you that are following me for the journal, you don't need to taper these because you're not going to see them. Okay, then you're going to need the main mechanism piece, and I've made mine the same width as my belly band. So if you're resizing, there's a tip. Okay, it needs to be the same size as your belly band once your belly band has got your scores. So once my score marks are folded in, that makes my belly band 8 inches long. Okay, and your mechanism needs to be the same. I think that's right. Let me just check my sizes. Belly band, back panel, 4 1/4 by 8. Yeah. Then what you want to do is put it on the long side, and you're going to need to score. And we're going to score 1/2 inch 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take your time because this really needs to be straight. Okay, so in essence you're scoring 1/2 inch from the edge up to 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the top one is going to attach to your back belly band panel. Okay, so you need to put some tape or something on that. I'm using score pal tape because it's nice and strong. Okay, don't need to do any mitering or anything like that, it's not necessary. You're not gonna see it. Right, and then you need to fold each one of those score marks. I'm just going to move my scoreboard because we don't need that now. So fold each one of those score marks, make sure they are straight, and then you really need to very firmly burnish them really well so that those are lovely and the fibres of the paper know where they're meant to be going. I'm using 225 GSM cardstock so that it's nice and sturdy. It's a good quality one so it won't split. Okay, but you really need to burnish this part really well. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on mine. Now they're going to be the same width as your card, as the back of the waterfall here. Now how long you have them, you can work that out, and I work it out by laying them on, okay, like so, and I just worked out my sizing because you need to leave a gap at the bottom of here to attach it, well, yeah, to attach your mechanism, essentially, you know, your push and pull thing, essentially. So I probably could have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I probably could have added another one, 6 if I wanted, but I just didn't want to push my luck. Okay, so that's that. So omit the top bit because that's going to attach to your backing. And then what you want to do is, and I advise you to do this with glue, start at the bottom one and put glue on there. Put it in the centre so that it's not going to splodge everywhere. Use a good quality glue or use tape. Okay, and then you need to line this card up, not with the bottom score mark but the next one up. So you're basically attaching it to that 1/2 inch score. Make sure it's straight. Don't be right on the score line because that score line needs to fold. Okay, so fold it over like that if needs be to make sure that you're not on it, and make sure it's lovely and straight. Take your time. This is where glue is your friend because you've got more time to get it straight. Okay, and leave that alone to dry. Then lift it up and fold back the others, just leaving the next 1/2 inch. Okay, and add your glue. And then attach your next flap. Okay, again, you want it up to the top, you want it flush either side, you don't want it going over the edge at the top at all. Okay, don't worry if you've got a bit of glue seepage, we can always deal with that later. Okay, and give that a good press. Do not be tempted at this point to lift up any of these flaps. Okay, if you don't go mad with your glue, you won't have a problem. Okay, and then fold up the next 1/2 inch score mark and do the same. A little bit of glue. If you use a good quality glue, you don't need loads. Okay, so you don't want it splodging out. And add the next one. So starting from the bottom and working your way to the top is essential for this, otherwise you're going to get yourself in a hot mess. Okay, squeeze. Make sure it's not overlapping, make sure they're all lined up, and you can see that they're all starting to line up nicely. Oops, it slipped. You just might need to wait in between for them to dry, although I'm using a fast drying glue. There we go. And then do the same again, lift the next score line up, add your glue. Those of you that are following along to do the folio album journal thingy, all of these measurements will be in the cutting guide for you to download over on Ko-fi, so don't worry. And I always say watch the video all the way through before you try it. Don't think, oh, I get the general gist, I'll have a go. Watch the video all the way through, okay, and then do your cutting very carefully and take your time. Because if you've not done one before, you might think, oh, that looks easy, I'll just go away and do it. That's how you end up with wasted cardstock. Okay, so watch the videos carefully, because I've already made all of the mistakes and figured out how to do it right, so that you're not wasting your cardstock. I've wasted mine. Okay. And then that's your last one, because the last 1/2 inch there has tape on to attach to your project. Alright. Right. Now at this point I'm actually going to pause my video, and I'm going to do that just to demonstrate that you need to just gently just lift them to make sure none are stuck together. Okay. That none of your glue's seeped. Very gently. Just make sure none of your glue's seeped so they're stuck at the edges. And then you must leave that to dry. Go away, make a cup of tea, let the dog out, bring the cat in, put the washer on, leave it to dry. It's essential, because if you then attach this to your book and start playing with it, when the glue's not dry, it can come apart. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to have a brew, and I'm going to let my dogs out. I'm not doing any washing, but I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I've been and had a quick brew, and mine is nice and dry. So once it's dry, you can then just lift each one back very carefully, okay? And just give them an extra crease. Okay, they should all be lined up beautiful, else you've done it wrong. Right, so what you want to do now is you want to attach this to your backing piece. Now I'm going to put mine in my journal. If you're making a card, you attach yours to your card, whichever. So if you're following along with my journal tutorials, no idea which order they will come out in, but it's going on page 2, so it's going here. Okay, so I'm just going to fold my journal out to make this section flatter. So is it going on page 2? Let me just double check. Yeah. So you get your page, you get your belly band, page or card, and you attach your belly band to your project. You want to centralise it, okay? Well, let me just, I'm going to do it from the bottom. So if you're doing the journal, this has been made smaller than the journal pages so that it's got room to move. So line it up with the, oops, I've committed too soon and I've not got it straight. Alright, I'm just going to have to go with it and hope it's straight. Line it up with the bottom, and then it should line up nicely with the top. So it goes the full length, top and bottom. Okay. Now, you can mat, if you're doing a journal or a card, you can mat under there, do your matting. Don't do it before you've attached, or else you're going to see these flaps. Okay, do your matting after, it will slip under, but don't put anything else under there. Yeah, this is not a place to tuck journaling cards or anything like that, because your mechanism's going to go behind there and needs to move. Okay, so you've been warned. Then you want to get your waterfall. Okay, and you want to attach it. Now I've cut mine the full length of there, you know, the same width, sorry, I beg your pardon. So remove your tape, or you can use glue again. I use tape because it's quicker. I'm just going to put mine to the side, but you're attaching it to the top. Okay, and you want it kind of centralised if you can. Okay. Just let me take time and get this. I can't see what I'm doing. Where's my piece of paper? Sometimes when I'm working on black card I can't always see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put some white paper underneath, because this is smaller than that. It can be hard to see, so I'm going to slip some white card through. Now I can see the edges of my belly band better. Okay, so I want to, I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, so it's the same width, so it's going end to end, and you want to put it to the top. Okay, line it up with the top of the page. Okay, I'm just being overcautious with mine because I've used Scorpel tape. Once it's down, it's down. I can't get it off and I can't move, so that should line up, all line up with the belly band. Yeah, it should be even on all sides. Okay. So then what you need to do is you need your mechanism to make it work. So you just need a strip of scrap card. Okay. It doesn't really matter about the width of this, but you know, you don't need more than about, what's this measure? It's 1 1/4 inch. You don't need any more than that. So what you want to do, this is a piece of scrap, it's got a bit, I might actually not use that. I don't think I'm going to use that one actually, because it's got a little bit roughed up because I've caught it on something. So I'm just going to trim this down. to, let me think, 1 inch, maybe do 1 1/4 just to be on the safe side. Okay, I don't worry about the length just now because we're going to make it to fit, but you want quite a long piece. This is probably about 12 inches. Okay, so you slide that behind the belly band, okay, and centralise your piece, okay, and then with all of your flaps down, just gently bend it around like so. So you're not attaching anything at the moment, we're just getting our paper to the right size. Okay, now it doesn't want to be too slack, but it doesn't want to be really tight either. It's one of those where you're just going to have to make sure that it moves up and down, and it does. Right, so it's about there. So now move all of your flaps, including the back base, so that all you've got is your belly band showing, and then where you've made those little creases, just fold it around, okay, and make sure it slides but it's not rocking too much, otherwise it won't slide nicely. Okay, so it's just, there's no exact measurement of that. You know what, that's probably a little bit tight. Okay, so I'm just going to go squeeze it out a bit further. It wants to freely move without any catching or too much friction. Okay, now that's about right, so I'm going to just squeeze that. I'm not scoring it, we're just squeezing it. Like I say, there's no exact measurement for it because it depends on the thickness of the card you're using, etc, etc. There's a lot of variables. So now what you want to do is you just want to glue that. If you want to trim it shorter, you can. I'm going to leave it the length that it is just for stability, extra stability. Alright, so glue that flap onto there. Just add a bit of extra glue on the edge of here. So you can have just a small overlap or you can have a large overlap, it doesn't really matter. Depends how much sturdy you want. Because I'm hoping to sell this journal when it's finished, I'm doing everything as perfect as I can. Okay, give that a minute to dry and make sure that it slides freely up and down there. Yeah, if you can feel any resistance or too much friction, you've done it too tight, take it off and do it again. You've got time to do that. All you've got to do is just take it off and do it again, okay? But once it's attached to your rest of your mechanism, then that's going to be more difficult. So slide it all the way down, okay? Now it's going to catch. It's going to catch on the flaps at the moment, but once you've laid your paper in, it won't catch. And I've cut it so that it won't catch anyway, even if you don't mat it. So what you want to do is you want to attach so this is the back, these are your flaps, and this is your back that you've attached them to, that you did all your scoring on. So you want to put a bead of glue on the back of there, not even in shot. So these are your flaps that are going to come up, and then this is the back that you've attached them all to, okay? And then this is your belly band, okay? So you want to put a bead of glue on there, and you want to attach it to the bottom end of here, okay? Let me show you. So it wants to be, so pull your flaps as far down as they'll go. I've measured mine so I've got a little gap, and then it wants to line up onto there, okay, so that it's glued to that. Make sure that this is centralised because you've got a little bit of wiggle room because you've bent it. Make sure it's centralised. Yeah, find where you want it and add some glue. Now at this point, if you want to put a pull tab, let me just quickly show you mine. I put a pull tab on mine, okay? You don't have to have one because you can just push it up and down, but I've just put a little pull tab on mine. If you want to do a pull tab, okay, and you want your matting and layering to be nice, put your pull tab on now, okay, and attach it to just this bit on the very bottom, okay? Am I going to do that? Do I want one? I'm going to actually do mine now. So I'm just getting a piece of scrap paper that coordinates with what I'm doing. Lucky for me, I've got the tab punch. I'm just going to ink it. This is not essential to make it work, but it just is like a visual thing to tell whoever's got the project or card or whatever you're putting this on that, you know, there's something to either pull or push. Okay, so I'm going to attach this to just here, okay, like so, before I add the rest on. Okay, so just bear with me. I do have to have it perfect if I'm going to sell it. Okay, so I'm taking a lot of time. I'd normally do it really quickly. Now before my glue dries, I'm going to make sure that's centralised. 1 3/4. Yeah, more or less. And I'm just going to give that a minute to dry. Like I say, you can omit this step if you're not bothered. Yep. Right, so once that's dry, like I say, you've got your flaps, you've got the back base, you need to put a bead of glue on the back side of there. Okay, or tape, or whatever you want to use. I'm using glue so that if I don't get it quite straight, I've got time to manoeuvre it. Okay, just going to spread that glue so that it doesn't seep. Where can I work that? Okay. And then this back base wants to attach to here. Quite low down, so get it straight. Okay. Line it up to where you want it. I'm going to actually line mine up flush with my mechanism so that you can't actually see it. Okay. Make sure it's centralised, lined up, and press. Okay, and then that is your reverse waterfall done, and then when you push it, it does that, and it's very cool. Okay, now you may well need some sort of closure because this will inevitably flap up. I'm going to be putting a flap over there of some description, but you could put, you know, whatever you want. So that's how you do a reverse waterfall. How cool and interactive. So I hope that's helped. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of that palaver. I'd be ever so grateful. Bye for now.